Hey guys and girls, my name is Alan and welcome to today's gameplay commentary. Well, sort of. I mean, you can probably guess from the title of the video what the topic is about. I have mentioned that I was going to talk about this at some point and it's now come to that point. It's a video that I've been meaning to do for a long time, but I just keep putting off, as I said, for various reasons. And I think the biggest one is I just didn't want to bring myself to say it. And the bottom line of this video is I'm disappointed with what Uncharted 4 Survival has become, but not necessarily become, but what it is. And I know it's not called co-op, but I'm not having anywhere near as much fun in this game as I did in Uncharted 2 and even in Uncharted 3, which I didn't enjoy as much as Uncharted 2, but I still enjoyed. And it saddens me. It really saddens me to say that. As I said, I spent hundreds of hours playing the other two games, and in this one, aside from getting the trophies, which is something I'll talk about in a minute, there's no real draw for me playing this. I don't care about getting a fast time. You know, I care about the experience. So that's playing with pubs and, you know, trying to get a good game, you know, playing flawless, helping each other out, that sort of thing. And I just don't get that sense in Uncharted 4 Survival. It's all about playing for time, to get the stars, to get the trophies. By the way, stage 8 and 10, now after they've patched it, ridiculous. I genuinely do not understand how someone can possibly think that those times are achievable with pubs. And I think this is probably one of the things where it's gone wrong as well. Uncharted 2 and 3, I never felt that I couldn't handle a specific match with pubs. Some matches were ridiculously hard, don't get me wrong, like Monastery, we'd fail that quite often. But other than that one map, there wasn't any other, you know, adventure map or co-op arena that I thought, I can't do this with pubs. And that's seriously not the case in Uncharted 4. There are some maps which, at some point, you just think, what's the point of me staying here? We're not going to win, it's just going to drag out forever. And yeah, I don't understand that. That's another decision that I feel, I don't know who made it. I'd love to sit down and have a conversation with developers, not to have a go, but just to question why they've changed the things that worked so well in previous games to stuff that is now I'm scratching my mind over. I don't understand. I really love the franchise, I really love the game mode, but I just feel that some of the decision making has gone so off course, and that's fine if they want to create a new game mode. I'd have happily taken survival alongside co-op and adventure, but definitely not in place of it, you know. I mean, let me know in the comment section below what your thoughts are on the situation. There's a lot more I want to talk about. This is just the tip of the iceberg, but that's how I want to start this video off. This is the tone that I'm setting. This is the mood that I'm in. I'm disappointed and I'm sad. I don't want to say upset, but yeah, it kind of brings a little bit of a tear to my eye knowing that I'm not going to be able to enjoy another good co-op game from Uncharted. I don't know when. They say they're not going to make another Uncharted game. I can sort of believe that, but with things like the Lost Legacy DLC coming out, a little part of me hopes that maybe they'll bring back the old Uncharted modes. Maybe they'll remaster Uncharted 2 and Uncharted 3 multiplayer. I can see them doing it. Whether or not they will is another point, but I can see them doing it. And then also maybe they will bring a new co-op mode to the Lost Legacy. Apparently the campaign's going to be pretty decent. I'm picking it up anyway, so it's whatever. But if they do announce a multiplayer for it, my hope's definitely rekindled. Something else I thought about the other day was they've only released one map from the old games onto the PS4 for Uncharted 4, and that's Village. Now, in Uncharted 3 they remastered loads of maps for Uncharted 2, and so I was expecting them to do the same. And I know they haven't got the same sort of DLC structure this time around, given that everything's free, so you don't buy map packs and stuff like that. But a little part of me thinks and hopes and wishes that the reason why they haven't remastered all the maps is because they are planning to remaster the entire of those two games. Please, hopefully. I'm praying, I'm begging, I'm wishing. And if that's the case, all will be forgiven, Naughty Dog. If you bring back Uncharted 2 co-op and adventure, and Uncharted 3 adventure and co-op, all will be forgiven. But it doesn't take away from the fact that I think you guys missed an opportunity with Uncharted 4 to do something completely next level. Like, co-op on Uncharted 4, I feel if you just followed the same pattern as 2 and 3, begrudgingly even 3, I feel it would have been amazing. And the biggest gripe I have is that there's not even a sniff of adventure mode. Where is adventure mode? that was the dog's bollocks, and I don't understand why you took it out. I really don't. Uncharted 4 Survival, the new co-op mode, if you will, for Uncharted 4 multiplayer. Before Uncharted 4 came out, I was really excited for this game mode. I played a crap ton of Uncharted 2 co-op. It's the first game that got me into co-op, and I absolutely loved it. I spent so much time playing it, arena and adventure. And then when Uncharted 3 came out, I was so excited to play that. I remember downloading the beta and being so annoyed that the first night I tried to play it, it was just a laggy mess and I just had to give up and go to bed. But I stayed up especially to download that beta and play it. And then obviously when the final game came out, you know, I was a little bit... There were some things I didn't agree with, but on the whole, I still had fun. And again, arena and adventure, two separate things, and I enjoyed them both, and I made a lot of good friends, spent a lot of hours playing it. I guess across the two games, I probably spent thousands of hours, probably. I don't know exactly, but it's definitely a lot. Not to brag, but just to say how much I enjoyed both of those two games. Multiplayer in Uncharted 2 was fun, was simple. I kind of compare it to COD 4 in that it's sort of a basic, you know, like game mode, but that's what I like. I enjoy that. I don't like all this calling in too much, you know, like, you know, score streaks or whatever. I mean, that's fun in its own right, but fundamentally, it's you, your gun versus other players and their gun. You know, good movement, good shooting, that sort of thing. None of this calling in streaks or sidekicks or blah blah blah. It was fundamental, but it was fun. Uncharted 3, I kind of enjoyed it, but there was just so much BS going on, like so much stuff, and the lag in that game was just mad. Like oh gosh, I don't know if that's because there just wasn't a lot of people playing it in my region. I mean, I live in the UK, so I don't know. I'm not that far away from people, but I don't know. The games felt laggy, and there was a lot of, you know, crap going on with like kickbacks and stuff like that. So I didn't. I mean, I enjoyed it, but I didn't enjoy it as much as Uncharted 2. And then Uncharted 4 came out, and I think they really nailed the multiplayer. I will give them credit for that. I think they really did well with the multiplayer. My only gripe with it is that the sidekick system. I don't know. I would love for them to remove that and have it as a separate playlist. So playlist with sidekicks and a playlist without sidekicks. I understand that the player base probably isn't big enough to handle something like that, which is probably why they haven't done it. But I would love to see that, because as much as I enjoy using sidekicks, and it's great to have someone that you know is going to always come and try and revive you when it works, rather than having to rely on teammates. But I don't know, just every time I get caught by a choker, you know, even though I've clearly jumped to evade, or get hit by a sniper when I'm, you know, engaged in a gunfight one-on-one with someone else, or, you know, just a brute gets called in at a really crucial time in the game, you know. It's just there's so many of those situations where it's fun to do, but at the same time, if you're on the receiving end of it, it can be so annoying. And then don't even get me started on things like Indra's Eternity, Spirit of the Jinn. You know what? I think I'm going off on a tangent here. I guess. Well, no. I suppose it's multiplayer, and I suppose I could make this about multiplayer in general. So primarily, I'm going to be talking about survival today, but that's my insight into multiplayer as well. So it wasn't what I was going to talk about originally, but I guess it's out there now. You might have noticed I've not yet mentioned the gameplay at all, and that's because I'm doing this gameplay commentary completely natural. I'm not watching any footage as I'm recording this. I'm just speaking to you through my microphone and just laying it all out there. And these are the worst videos for me to edit, because I don't know how long this video is going to go on for. It could go on for an hour for all I know, and I need to find footage to fit it. But I want to try and keep it sort of within a respectable length. If necessary, I'll break it into two parts, but I don't think it'll be much longer than half an hour, probably. So yeah, I'm not too sure what footage I'm going to put into the actual video itself. I'm thinking I'm going to use some of my first time getting 3 stars on a couple of the stages. I don't know yet what difficulty, probably hard or something, but it gives you an insight as well into how I played the game early on. And I suppose that leads me on nicely onto the first point I want to talk about. Right, so I guess we've covered the multiplayer aspects of all the games, and I've covered Uncharted 2 and Uncharted 3 co-op. So yeah, when Uncharted 4 came out, I was really excited for it. Like, I was expecting to put in a lot of hours into this co-op mode, and then they called it Survival, and I thought, okay, they've just renamed it and they've made a few things different, that's fine. Turns out, fundamentally, it's kind of different overall, and not in a good way. I love 2, and I thought they went backwards on some things in terms of 3. By adding more, they made it worse, in my opinion. So 2 still holds the #1 spot for me, and I didn't think it could get any worse than 3. I was wrong. 4 is worse, co-op wise, obviously. Everything else is fantastic. Multiplayer is good, as I've already said. Single player is on par with 2. I couldn't pick which one's better, 2 or 4. I don't know, but they're both good. That's how good they are. So yeah, as information started coming out, and obviously, you know, we didn't get a beta for it, so a little bit apprehensive. Started playing it for the first time, and it, you know, it has the essence of old co-op games in that you play obviously with friends or with randoms, and you beat an AI and you complete the match. But that's probably all that's the same. There's so much that they've changed, and I don't understand why. Fundamental things they've changed. There's not a lot of variety in survival. One of the things that I didn't really enjoy in 3 was that there was so much of the same on every single map. So when you had Gold Rush, you knew exactly where the idols were going to spawn, you knew exactly where the chest was going to be, you had your route mapped out before the round had even started, and I didn't like that. I want variety, okay? I want to think on my feet, I want to have to adjust to the situation as necessary. In Uncharted 2 they had the modes separate, so Gold Rush, Survival and Siege. I enjoyed it separately. Some people could argue that yeah, it's sat in one place, got a bit boring, but you know it's fine. I enjoy the challenge to go flawless, you know, with pubs, stages 1 through 10, well, rounds, waves 1 to 10. That for me was a challenge, that for me was fun, and I enjoyed doing that. They mixed it up in 3, and that's fine. I can see the appeal. I played Mass Effect 3 at the same time or shortly after, and I understood the appeal of having mixed objectives within the same match. Again, added more variety, added mixture to it, so that was fine. But you know, siege areas rotated, which was good. That's fine. You didn't know where the siege area was going to be. You always hope for the best one, but sometimes you got the worst one. You just had to deal with it. Survival, well, survival hasn't changed too much. But Gold Rush was preset, and that was the same on every single map in Uncharted 3 co-op, and I didn't really understand that, and I just felt if they'd have just rotated them a bit more, that'd be great. In Uncharted 4, they took the whole bloody thing out. They didn't even put Gold Rush into the game. What is that? And they added a new game mode, Treasure Hunt, which I don't know. I genuinely don't enjoy Treasure Hunt, to be honest. Possibly because of the time constraint, but it's not a fun mode for me. I'd rather bring back Gold Rush. And Siege has now gone the way of Gold Rush from Uncharted 3. It's now set in the same location every single time, and I can't. I don't understand. They've taken several steps backwards now. So they've taken out a game mode which has been there since the start, Gold Rush, and now they've also reversed the rotating siege areas. And I know it's because of the way that the game is set up. The survival is all about beating the clock to get the best possible time, and in order for people to play that fairly, everything needs to be exactly the same every single match, and that is so incredibly mundane, and I don't understand why somebody thought this would be a good idea for the absolute, like, this is all they have. They don't have any other co-op game modes. It's just Uncharted 4 Survival. You play against the clock, you try and get the best time possible on every single stage, and everything is set the same every single time. I don't understand. I don't understand that. That's not what people started. That's not what I started playing co-op for. That's not what I fell in love with. If this had been in Uncharted 2, I don't think I'd be a bigger fan of the series as I am now. You know, I don't know. It upsets me that they've made so many of these changes, and I know they put a lot of passion into it. You can tell, like the amount of detail they put into the campaign, into multiplayer, into survival. A lot of thought, a lot of, you know, I'm guessing a lot of technical expertise has gone into these games, right? There's plenty of games out there which are terrible, and Uncharted is not one of them. By all means, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say it's a bad game. I'm just saying that I'm disappointed with what they've done with co-op. I mean, they renamed it, so there's a part of me that hopes that co-op will come back someday. And Adventure, where is Adventure? Adventure hasn't even shown its head. It's been a year almost since launch, and there's no adventure mode whatsoever. I absolutely love that in Uncharted 2. Some of my best matches were playing Uncharted 2 crushing with pubs, trying to get these missions done. Yes, there was a trophy involved, but that's not why we wanted to. Well, okay, that's not why I wanted to do it. I don't know about them, but yeah, just to complete a crushing adventure story, flawless, was great. An amazing feeling. And I still remember the first time I did Village. It took a ridiculous amount of time, but us 3 randoms, we worked together well as a team. I'm sure I've got it recorded. I know I've got it recorded somewhere. I might even upload it one day. And just some of the sniping sections in Sanctuary and having to rescue each other from, you know, situations like chokers and stuff. Amazing, just fantastic. In Uncharted 3, they added those bosses with those abilities, and I guess that's the thing that I didn't like about Uncharted 3 was the kickbacks. We had them, enemies had them. I'd have preferred it if they just removed them entirely. Other than that, it would have been pretty much perfect in my opinion. And yeah, that's something else that's missing out from Uncharted 4. In Uncharted 2, chokers would run up on you and they were completely silent, and if you didn't keep your wits about you and your team, you know, if your team was spread out and you couldn't get rescued, you were dead. And that added a risk, right? It promoted teamwork. Well, it should have promoted teamwork, but it made sure that your head was always on a swivel. Like, if you were the last man standing and the other two were dead, a choker could seriously fuck up your day. And the amount of matches I've raged over because of chokers just managed to sneak up on me and I'm the last man standing, because they can spawn in like after you've killed an enemy. They're not. It wasn't preset. It was basically you kill an enemy. I don't know if it's based on a budget or whatever, but a choker could just spawn in and then he could screw you over, and it was so enraging, but it made them scary. And when you managed to save a teammate who was cross map because, you know, for whatever reason they decided to run cross map, that was a great feeling. And revives, they changed that system as well. In Uncharted 2 and Uncharted 3, if a teammate goes down, you went over there, you revived them, you both got healed to full health, and then you could GTFO. In Uncharted 4, you can run over there, revive them, they don't get revived to full health, which is, okay, that's fine, I understand that. You don't get revived to full health, what's your incentive for doing it? I don't understand that. And the thing that annoys me the most is that they've introduced a loadout system, which by the way works great. I do like the loadout system. I love the fact that you can bring all these boosters and they can enhance your abilities and everything. But, this is a very big but, they've made so many features that were in Uncharted 2 and Uncharted 3 by default a booster now. So things like getting headshots. Why do I need a booster to do more headshot damage? That doesn't make any sense. Hardened, I can understand that. Reduce flinch when being shot at. That's fine. Some people don't need it. Some people like to use it. I personally like to use it, but I know other people can live without it. That's fine. Why do I need a booster to revive my ally back to full health? And then also to recuperate my own health when this was a feature that was standard in Uncharted 2 and Uncharted 3? Why is that? I don't understand. And there's so many things like that in the loadout system that I just don't understand, and I feel would be better if they were just implemented straight into the game rather than needing a booster to do it. Boosters, in my opinion, should help your game. Boosters like quick heal. Pretty much everyone used that in Uncharted 3, right? That was like a standard. Some people chose to play without it, most people chose to play with it. That's a personal choice. But something as fundamental as being revived to full health and having that protection when you're reviving, that promotes co-op play, right? That's something that's been there since Uncharted 2 and Uncharted 3. And I don't understand why they went back on that. I don't know. I don't know why they've done that.